We're live, and we're back. This is Basement Movie Room, and we are here to talk about episode 6 of The Last of Us, entitled Kin. So if you're joining us for the first time, thanks for dropping in. If you're listening to us on the podcast, be sure to follow, leave a review. We'd love to have a review or two on the podcast.
Yeah, let's chat.
That's right. You can email us at basementmovieroompodcast with an S at gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at movie_basement. You can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@basementmovieroom. Or, of course, on Twitch, twitch.tv/basementmovieroom. We also are live on YouTube as well. So we're here to discuss episode 6 of The Last of Us. Like I said, it is entitled Kin, and we just got through watching it here about, 25 minutes ago. Took a little break. Now we're on the stream and on the podcast recording. What did you think about episode 6 of The Last of Us?
Yeah, it was a really good episode. Slow, but good. Really, it's building towards that relationship even further with Joel and Ellie. And kind of getting to a place where they should be.
Yeah.
I guess with the video games and all that, and how close they are. So
yeah,
it's you can start to see that relationship really build.
Yeah. But as the game player, I'm like, wow, this episode really covered a lot in very little time, to be honest. There's a lot skipped over here. I think some people are going to be like upset about that. I'm not upset about it because most of the section that takes place in this episode is a lot of gameplay. It's not a lot of story in there. There's a lot of, there's a whole, we see the dam. Ellie makes a terrible joke about the dam, but there's a whole section of the game that takes place in that dam where they're trying to get it running again. This episode, we skip over all that. They already got it running in Jackson, and they're in Jackson Hole. But yeah, great episode. I really enjoyed, like you said, the relationship building, things like that. Joel, we get some info about Sarah and things like that in this episode that Ellie did not know. I didn't even remember that Ellie doesn't know Joel's past that much. So that was kind of new information for Ellie.
He was always saying, let's keep our history to ourselves.
No history.
Yeah.
But we do get that information in this episode. So I thought it was a really good world-building episode and kind of like necessary to move the story forward episode. It's not action-packed. A little bit of action here and there in this episode. Not action-packed by any means, but a lot of good story, a lot of emotional beats in this episode. So I thought it was a terrific episode.
Not a filler episode whatsoever.
No, not a filler.
There's a lot of vital stuff that I notice in this episode, not being playing the game or anything, but you can see a lot of things that are transpiring.
Oh, definitely.
And foreshadowing for what's to come.
Yeah.
And it's kind of odd how they started this episode.
Yeah, I loved it though.
With the was it Henry?
Oh yeah. They
started off with
flashback
Henry.
to the previous episode.
Yeah.
That not in like
Off
the previously
himself.
on.
Yeah.
We start back. So we'll go right into it. So the opening of the episode is essentially a flashback to Henry, Joel trying to stop Henry from killing himself. Of course he fails. Henry, kills himself because he's just killed his brother. He doesn't want to live at that point. And I think that kind of it has effect on Joel. We're seeing the effect it has on Joel, this is kind of different from the game ultimately, but we see that it's having an effect on Joel. And I think it kind of, the reason they went back to that is kind of the purpose of this episode is to kind of open Joel up more emotionally. He's definitely becoming less like hardened outer shell and letting Ellie in. So we open up with that scene where Joel sees the sacrifice Henry made and killed himself because of that sacrifice. He killed Sam to save Ellie and Joel, essentially. But there was nothing left for him to live for. And Joel, I think, is coming to the realization that if he loses Ellie, what does he really have left to live for? He doesn't have much to live for. He's got Tommy, which we're going to meet Tommy in this episode again. But yeah, I think that was integral to push the story forward for this episode. So the opening of the episode is that
it was an interesting start though.
Yeah,
but it makes sense.
It's the first time I think that we've jumped back to the previous episode in the full
quick
episode.
scene. Yeah. Without in the previous episode.
We didn't watch the previous thing on because we
went forward.
We just jumped it, skipped it, and then we're like, oh well, we're going back anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that was brought back in to kind of show that in the next scene, kind of the effect Joel was taking from that, and I think it was an excellent idea to start it on that.
Oh yeah.
So the next scene, we have a man in a hunting coat walking up to a cabin. He's got some dead rabbits. We see a deer that's hanging up outside that he's killed, and he walks to the cabin, opens the cabin door. We get the face of the man. It's Graham Greene, who is a terrific Native American actor. He's been in a lot of movies. The movie I most remember Graham Greene from, and you may even remember this movie, Thunderheart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Thunderheart.
Yeah.
Okay, you do. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Val Kilmer.
Kilmer. Yeah.
Terrific movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, terrific movie. But Graham Greene's a cop
Dances
in
with
that
Wolves.
Dances with Wolves. But for some reason, Thunderheart's what I go to every time I think of Graham
100%.
Greene. Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of when I saw him too. Yeah.
Thunderheart.
It's crazy.
Terrific movie. No, I don't feel like anybody remembers Thunderheart.
Yeah, it's kind of forgotten.
It's
in
not.
a sense.
I think it's a great movie. I don't think it was particularly well received when it came out. But good movie with Val Kilmer in it. So if you haven't seen Thunderheart, check it out. You'll see some great acting from Graham Greene and another great Val Kilmer performance.
Yeah, we ought to. Hey, stay tuned. We might review it
Next Friday, possibly. You never know what could happen on Basement Movie Room.
I think we have a winner.
Apparently, we should be Basement Movie / TV Room because we actually do a lot more TV these days than we do movies.
That's true.
There will be a movie podcast coming out sometime this week, so guys, stay tuned.
Yes.
We watched a banger and a pretty good movie starring Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
And a movie that I am really harsh on as well. So stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, Graham Greene, we're revealed to him. He walks in. There's a larger Native American woman sitting in a chair, and Joel comes out and is there and holding a gun on Graham Greene. And very small role for Graham Greene. I mean, it was a great casting because if there's like a couple of Native American actors you're going to get that you're going to recognize. It's like Wes Studi, and then Graham Greene, and the guy from Westworld, the Native American guy from Westworld, whose name I cannot remember, but he's a terrific Native American actor. And Adam Beach, that's like the Native American actors that you almost always get.
Is that the guy in Yellowstone?
Adam, I don't know. Is he in Yellowstone? He's in Wind Talkers with Nick Cage. I know that.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, different guy.
Yeah, and he's in Joe Dirt. He plays the fireworks salesman in Joe Dirt. Yeah. So Joel walks out and is talking to Graham Greene. He's got a gun on him. Graham Greene doesn't ultimately seem like a threat, and I think Joel knows he's not a threat. It's so funny because Graham Greene, Joel's holding. He looks down and there's soup on the table. He's like, "Did you feed them?"
She's like, "Yep."
It's like, "Yeah, it's cold outside." Yeah. His wife was hilarious. She's like the best part of that scene. It was fantastic. It's a great little scene. You
didn't get the gun? No, it's way over there.
Way over there.
But she made him soup.
She's a big lady, man. Yeah. She's a big lady, so she's just sitting in the chair.
But, she was good comic relief.
But she's like, "There's another one upstairs," and you meet Ellie, and the guy, Graham Greene goes, "Oh, I see you're traveling with this little psycho," or something like that. It's so funny.
Yeah, who's this little psycho?
Yeah, who's this little psycho? So they talk to Graham Greene, and Joel's like, "I'm going to show you this map, and you're going to point out where exactly we are." And he's like, "Oh, you're lost, I guess, you know." And he's like, "And you're going to have to tell me where we are because your wife told me a location. If you don't tell me the same location, it's going to be bad for you." He does, and that's another funny scene between Graham Greene and his wife in this show. He's like, "Did you tell him the truth?" She's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Are you telling me the truth?" She's like, "Yes." It's terrific. I absolutely love it. I love seeing Graham Greene.
An old married couple.
Yeah, fantastic.
They love each other but despise each other at the same time.
It was great. It was great. So he tells them the location. Then they ask, where can we go? And they're like, "Oh, well, don't go across the river here. That's like the river of death. Nobody comes back from there."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I wouldn't recommend you go there. I'd recommend you go east."
Yeah, they kill non-infected. They kill infected.
So Joel kind of starts trusting them at that point. Puts his gun away. They're not a danger to him. They're decent people. They're just living on their own. They're doing what they do. So Joel and Ellie get together and they leave these people alive, of course, which for Joel is a pretty good thing because Joel's probably not done that a lot in the past. He's probably killed a lot of people like that. Unfortunately, he's not the best person. I think that comes into play later in the episode. But yeah, that's a terrific scene. They leave. Ellie steals one of the rabbits he killed, and Joel's like, "Put that back." She's like, "No, why? I mean,
Yeah.
So
I should have took both of them.
yeah, but I kind of talked a lot about that scene. Did you have anything to add?
Oh no, it was nice and kind of lighthearted to start off after coming off that pretty heavy episode.
Yeah.
You know, last episode was very heavy, and then you get this nice lighthearted scene with these two elderly.
Yeah, and we also get
couple.
that hard to watch scene again the first episode.
Yeah.
Which there's a slight little reference to what's going on with Joel right outside the cabin. Joel starts having. It looks like he's having a heart attack. He's having a panic attack.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clearly. He's having some troubles at this point because Henry's death has affected him. Like I don't think he's felt that way in a long time. But we're supposed to believe, I think, that Ellie is kind of breaking into his hard skin there, and that he has somebody to worry about again.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't worried about Tess so much. Like
He has
and
responsibility now
things
again.
Like Tess could take care of herself. And Bill could take care of himself.
He took care of Tommy. He took care of his daughter. I mean, daughter was a long time ago, but he took care of Tommy. How long ago did him and Tommy get separated?
Yeah, it's like I think years at this point, probably.
Yeah.
I assume it's like at least a year, probably.
So he's back into that role.
Yeah, he's back. He's got Ellie. He's worried about Ellie.
Yeah.
And he's having a panic attack.
Probably hasn't felt that in a while.
Yeah, later in the episode, he explains what's happening, and it's
so
clearly
calloused.
a panic attack that he's having. And like Ellie runs up to him, and is like, "Oh my God, don't die on me! Are you dying?
Don't you go dying
He's
on
like,
me?
No, I'm fine. He kind of plays it off because he doesn't want her to worry because he's worried, but he doesn't want her to worry. So they take off walking west, exactly where Graham Greene told them not to go, and they come upon a dam. They come upon a cave. They end up staying in a cave at night at this river that they think is the river they were talking about. So they stay in a cave overnight, and Joel actually falls asleep on his watch.
Yeah.
And like he wakes up, like freaks out kind of because like he's falling asleep on his watch, and Ellie's like, "Oh, I took second watch because you fell asleep," and he's kind of like giving her shit, like, "Why didn't you wake me up?" He's like, "Why did you fall asleep?" And he's like, "Okay, you got me." So nice little moments between them on this walk. Like
You're
good
starting
things.
to get more and more of that.
Yeah, and he's really opening up as much as Joel will open up in this show is what's happening. He's got a companion. He somewhat thinks of her as a daughter at this point, I think is what we're supposed to understand. And they continue on past after they wake up to that river, and they come up to another river with a dam, and Ellie makes a terrible joke like, "I'll be damned," or something like that. Damn. Yeah, that's right. She's just.
And Joel didn't even comment. He's just like,
Joel's just like,
whatever. At this point, whatever.
And there's another little funny part where she goes, "Well, how did this work?" He's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
He's like, she's like, and you were like, he could have just made something up. She'd never know any different. I'm like, dams aren't that complicated, though. It's just like hydroelectric. It runs through a generator, moves the generator, and makes electricity.
It kind of goes back to that scene with him siphoning the gas,
Yeah.
where he tried to bullshit his way through that.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, "You don't know what you're talking about, do you?" And he's like, "No, I really don't."
Yeah. No.
So
So they come up to this river. They're going over a hill, and all of a sudden, a dozen horses come up on them with a dog. And these guys surround him, and Joel, knows he's outnumbered. He's not going to fight these guys off. And they're like, "Drop your gun." He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to drop my gun." And they tell Ellie to step 5 steps back. And they're like, "Oh," they release the dog. And he's like, "Are you infected?" He's like, "No, we're not infected." And then he's like, "Well, if you're infected, this dog's going to know.
He'll sniff you out.
Yeah, he'll sniff you out, and then he's going to tear you up."
Yep.
So they let the dog go. The dog runs up to Joel. Joel jumps on Joel's, like all happy about Joel. And then the dog starts going towards Ellie to check her out. And you can see Joel's eyes. His face just kind of drops in this scene. And this dog starts walking up to Ellie, kind of growling and stuff, and goes up to Ellie. And Joel hears all of a sudden in the background, Ellie's just playing with the dog. And the dog didn't smell it on her either. So her immunity clearly hides it completely.
And once again, even the dog is a great actor in this.
Yeah, that dog's fantastic.
All the acting
Love
is
that
great
dog.
in this.
You can pet the dog.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, in video games. You want to be able to pet the dog. And in Last of Us 2, which I'm playing right now, Ellie gets to pet a dog in the first hour of it. And I'm like, hell yeah, petting that
I
dog.
feel so lost without playing.
Yeah, I'm bringing my PlayStation 4. You're going to play the
I'm an
first one
Xbox
when we're
guy,
done.
so
Yeah, I'm getting the PlayStation 4 over
I don't
there.
have a PlayStation.
I got a PlayStation 5. You can have the PlayStation 4 to play Last of Us 1. Remastered, not the new one. So come to find out, these guys are from Jackson Hole, which is a small community, and Tommy is there, and and there's a black lady with these guys. She rides up and goes, he's like, I'm just looking for my brother. And she's like, what's your name? And he says, Joel. And
She recognizes right away.
she recognizes right away
Yeah.
that this is Tommy's brother. So Tommy's there. They give Joel and Ellie a horse, which I didn't see any extra horses when these guys rode up.
Yeah.
So they just leave two guys behind just
I guess
to
they
walk.
killed two guys.
Hey, asshole. Boom, boom, you're dead. So so that's the end of that scene. So we'll stop.
They were infected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog said so.
Yeah.
The dog was riding a horse. That's what it was. Dog riding a horse.
Ellie's riding the dog and
Yeah. That would have been entertaining. So, how'd you feel about these scenes? I thought they were great.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it was, I don't really have too much to say about it. I mean, the scene where Joel kind of froze when the dog was going up to Ellie.
Yeah.
Like he kind of shows some more that's to come.
Yeah, I mean, his acting in that scene was great because you could tell he was worried, but he was trying not to show it because these guys
were
looking at him.
He's really starting to, get close to this kid.
Yeah, even though he didn't want to show it.
Yeah. So
he didn't want to show it.
He's just been so calloused and
he's just pent up,
kept away from everybody, his emotions for so long that I don't think he knows how to react.
Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't.
With his emotions.
He's closed off his emotions best he could over the years,
and now he can't.
Yeah.
It's coming to that point.
So clearly we know Tommy's going to be in this next scene, and they ride in to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and it's all boarded up like a 1800s fort, essentially. It's like log walls.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I was like, man, what is this? A logging community?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, but
so
it's Canada. I mean, Wyoming.
The guys ride up. They're waving a red flag. I'm like, red flag? Shouldn't a white flag be waved there, man? But anyway, so they ride through the gates.
Must be their sign.
And as they're riding down the avenue, Joel comes up. They stop, and Tommy's working right there, and Joel, immediately yells, "Tommy!" and jumps off the horse. It's a great little moment between brothers. He runs up. They embrace each other. They haven't seen each other for a long time, and Joel thought Tommy could be dead. Honestly, he's extremely happy to see him. And then they end up going into a restaurant where Joel and Ellie are eating like I eat. You say I eat super fast. Looks like me eating right there.
I've never seen somebody eat so fast in my life. It's like, did you taste it?
I'm scared. Somebody's going to take my damn food, man. You got to eat fast. You got to get it out the way.
Yeah, I mean, need people like you whenever
I eat like you drink.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, you got a point. I just filled that one.
Yeah. So they're talking to Tommy and Joel and Ellie and Maria, the black lady who asked Joel his name, is there. And Joel's like, hey, can we get a minute, just family here? And Tommy goes, well, she is family. He's married Maria at this point. And Maria
kind of saw that.
Yeah. And I told you from the game, Maria's a race swap. Maria's a white lady in the game. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me a bit because she's a terrific actor. This lady, I've seen her before. I know I've seen her in stuff before. She's recognizable.
She does look familiar.
But she's a pretty terrific actress, though. She's it comes up later that she was an attorney before the whole thing, which I thought was pretty
prosecuting attorney, right?
Which I'm an attorney, not a prosecutor. But so it comes up. But he's married, and so Joel doesn't tell the truth right then and there. He says that he's helping Ellie, and he tells I can't remember if it's that scene or later that he tells Tommy that she's some big. I think it's later. Yeah, it's later.
During the movie,
Yeah, when they're in the bar.
Yeah.
The bar's named the Tipsy Bison.
Yeah,
which
nice.
They really filmed this on location in Jackson Hole. I think that's what they were saying at the after show. That all these business
That's right.
owners
It
were
was
like
already-
all about being, part of that. So and I've never.
This place is great.
Yeah, it's a terrific little location.
And so this is all in the game. This location.
Yeah, and
This
it's in the
nice.
second game, by the way. But so yeah.
So it's nice and set up like this.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly in the game because part of this section takes place at the dam where they're having to defend the dam because they're trying to get it working again. And that's, Tommy's there at the dam when they meet her with Maria and Joel figures out they're married and stuff like that. And I also don't remember Tommy, I don't want to skip ahead.
Yeah.
So there's those scenes. I thought those were pretty good. I thought it was really good to see Tommy and Joel back together again, in their relationship. Very nice because, again, Joel's closed off emotionally, but he still loves his brother.
It's like seeing a good friend that you haven't seen in years and reconnecting with.
Yeah.
And you just go right back to where you were.
Yeah, and it's like it's your
Yeah.
brother. Everybody you know is probably dead at this point. Your
And so
brother's still alive. That's all you got.
They just reconnected there's no time that was lost between them.
Yeah, I mean Joel is a little pissy later at him a little bit, but it goes away pretty quickly.
And Tommy actually sees through Joel's bullshit too.
Oh,
At the table,
yeah,
he
because
can
he's
tell.
his brother. He knows exactly.
He knows that he's not telling the full truth about Ellie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it showed it. Camera kind of zoned in on
Yeah,
him.
Tommy can smell the bullshit from
Yeah.
Joel. They grew up together.
He's
They
like,
obviously
yeah, I
each
know
other.
you a
He
little
knows
better than that.
something's up. So they take a little tour of the town. There's nothing much to talk about here except that Ellie sees a young horse and goes up to it, and Maria says, "Oh, that's Shimmer." And if you played Last of Us Part 2, that's Ellie's horse in Last of Us Part 2.
And that's
So
what,
it was kind of a nice little. That was not in the first game. So that was an awesome reference to the second game, which I just started playing the second game, so that's the only reason I remember that well, because I'm like 4 hours into the second game right now, because my neighbor let me borrow it. Thanks, Chris. I would buy it anyway if I didn't, but he let me borrow it, so I can avoid spending money. So they take a little tour of the town, and there was this nice little comment there where they're like, he's like, oh, they're saying, oh, we share everything, we do everything, and Joel's like, sounds like communism to me. He goes, and Tommy's like, no, it's not really communism, and they're from Texas, so we know communism's a dirty word in Texas. But Tommy's like, oh, it's not really communism. Maria's like, well, it's a commune, so it's kind of communism.
we're communists.
It's pretty funny. That's really kind of.
And he just stopped walking and was like, oh. It's like, I've been fighting against this my whole life because he was in the military and all that.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, wow, crap.
He's like, oh, man, we are communists.
World's changed.
It's a different world, though.
Yeah.
Different world, though, at this point. So the next scene is Joel and Tommy in a bar. They're finally getting their alone time to talk. And even then, Joel isn't able to tell him who Ellie is because he's scared. He's scared of his own brother. He's scared of what people might do.
Right.
Because he understands the world they're living in.
He doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah. They're having some whiskey. It looks like homemade whiskey. It looked like a gentleman Jack bottle,
yeah.
But it wasn't. It had a little like masking tape on it that says something. I didn't catch what it said on it. So they're talking, and Tommy's like, Joel's like, we gotta, I gotta get her here, and he's like, but I need your help and this, and Tommy's like, well, I can't help. Like, Maria's pregnant. She's a few months along.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a father.
Surprise.
And Joel, in his just assholeness, just can't accept this. And it kind of causes a little row between them. And yeah, I understand. Joel's in one set of mind, and he hasn't been with Tommy for a while. So it's like, the Tommy I knew wouldn't have done this and things like that. But they have a little conversation.
The guy's raising a family in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel's is still emotionally closed off, even to his brother. And they get in a kind of a little argument there, and Joel can't even tell the truth about Ellie then because Tommy asked like, oh, who is she? And he's like, oh, she's some, Firefly leader, mucky muck, big, person's daughter.
There's money involved in it.
Yeah, he said it's for money.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even say that Tess died. That's the crazy thing, because he tells Tommy Tess is doing fine, which is crazy. And it's like he doesn't even feel like he can trust his own brother, and that just tells you how much Joel is damaged at this point. So they get a little argument. They kind of leave without apologizing to each other ultimately. So yeah, that's kind of the scene we're at. So what'd you think? What do you think about that?
From the time we met Tommy, I didn't think, and they did a really good job of like making it seem like you can't trust him.
Yeah,
with the information.
You felt that the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he's fine.
I was like, man, I don't think we can trust Tommy here.
I was just like,
so they did a really good job of making it seem that way.
Yeah, no,
but it's all through Joel's eyes right now.
Yeah, because we got a bad narrator for this. Essentially, we're seeing through Joel's eyes how Tommy looks and how everybody looks in this town, and Joel doesn't trust anybody. Joel's an asshole.
Yeah,
and even Ellie would tell you that.
And Tommy's done nothing but like just give him everything that they need. To this point.
Yeah, Tommy has come to a point where. And I don't think Tommy was ever like Joel, because Tommy didn't have as much loss. Tommy wasn't married. He didn't have any kids.
Yeah, didn't lose.
And Tommy, of course, loves Sarah, but it's not the same.
It's different.
It's not the same. It's your niece. It's not your daughter. It's a very different feeling. It certainly would affect him. But yeah, so Joel storms out, and he goes outside, and he sees a girl that looks from behind like Sarah, and he's like, and he has another panic attack before that, and he sees this girl, and he's standing there, and then she turns around, and it's not Sarah, of course, but that just that picture of like kind of like Sarah's hair, it looked like her hair, that curly hair she had. So he kind of has another panic attack there. The kind of funny thing is, like, he's standing up against the thing and freaking out. Nobody sees him. I'm like, I feel like somebody would have been like, "Hey man, you okay?"
Yeah.
So, but
he was kind of behind everybody.
For dramatic effect, I guess you got to go. They're celebrating like Christmas here. Joe mentions that like, oh, you got Christmas trees and everything. They're singing,
whiskey.
They're singing Santa Claus is coming to town or something like that out there. So yeah, I really like that kind of world building that has in that scene, showing how this town is doing their best to live like nothing's wrong. Essentially, you finished another one. You pour another way. Got a viewer. Hey, if you're viewing, definitely comment.
Yeah,
right now.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
love to chat.
So the next scene, Ellie gets out of the shower. She goes out. She sees a note on the bed that says, "I'm across the street." Finish it off.
Yeah, refill here. I'm going to take a 10-second break, walk away.
We're going to do some refills. I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
So Ellie has some new clothes.
I can still hear you over here.
And you asked if Ellie if these are clothes from the game. I have no memory of the clothes she wears towards the end of the game. I feel like she doesn't change clothes, though. I could be wrong.
I did see from the previous couple episodes that red shirt.
That red shirt's iconic.
It's from the game.
It's iconic from the game. Yeah.
Just wondering.
Yeah. So the Maria, it ends up Maria had left her some new clothes and a menstruation cup is what that was. Yeah. So Ellie's like, oh, making a mess over there. You spilling my beer.
Spilling the fruit.
So she gives her a menstruation cup and some new clothes and says, "I'm across the street." Ellie leaves, goes across the street. She walks in the house and she sees this chalkboard over the mantle. It's like a memorial to Kevin and Sarah. And come to find out, Kevin was Maria's kid, from what I can tell. So Maria's lost a kid, or somebody close to her. And maybe it was her husband. I don't know. I couldn't see the dates perfectly on that. Sarah was Joel's kid, of course, which Ellie had no idea. Yeah, Ellie had no idea. We're going to take a quick pause here. But yeah, Ellie's talking to Maria, and Maria is like, "Oh, how do the clothes work? Here's a new coat." And she's like, "Oh, it's purple." She's like, "It's eggplant."
It's eggplant.
Refill. Mo GameCon glass. If you guys haven't heard of Mo GameCon, check out mogamecon.com. That's a video game convention I help run. I don't want to take all the credit.
Come visit.
Yeah, come visit St. Louis area for Mo GameCon. Probably in July.
All right, back to normal.
So Maria's like, how long has it been since you had a haircut? And Ellie's like, whoa, I go to all the fancy salons. And she's like, she doesn't really want a haircut, but Maria's like, no, I'm just going to cut the ends off. And as she's cutting her hair, she's like, oh, is this what you did for a living before? And she's like, no, I was an assistant district attorney in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's it. Yeah.
And she's like, oh, cool, and attorneys, things like that. Ellie would have been a good attorney, somebody says at some point in this, and I'm like, who would want to do that job? So yeah, it's a good little moment between Maria and Ellie. Maria's definitely motherly towards Ellie. She wants to, be her friend and make her feel comfortable. She gave her the menstruation cup. That's, it's a big thing for a woman, because there's no tampons. Ellie found them earlier in the series, but things like that,
They
tough.
started off on a little rocky start there.
They did, but Ellie comes, I think, to really like Maria in this scene because Maria's kind of cool. And then well, we can stop there. We can talk about that scene. Anything about that scene, kind of Ellie and Maria?
Just the her giving her the clothes and stuff. I mean, it's a nice gesture and all that.
It's motherly.
But it's motherly, but I don't know anything about this town, but it's like it seems like they're trying to make people conform to their ways a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you have
to. Tommy totally changed, it seems like, to become part of this community. So
for sure.
I guess they're trying to get Ellie to feel the same way.
Yeah.
And kind of leave her old ways, thinking that they're gonna end up staying here.
Yeah.
Which is not gonna be the case, but yeah, I mean, that's about it from that.
Yeah. Just minor world building there.
Yeah.
So the relationship between Maria and Ellie is going to become important at some point in the future. I will tell you, for the games. The games, it's going to be important. So the next scene we get is a scene where Joel's trying to fix his boots. His boots are worn out at this point. He's trying to cobble them.
He's got them duct taped together.
Duct tape. The sole's coming off one. He's trying to work on them. And Tommy comes in to this little, I don't know, it's kind of like a blacksmith shop or something. I don't know really what it is. It's like a workshop. And he brings Joel a new pair of boots, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, for what I was doing earlier. And Joel does not say he's sorry here, if I recall correctly. He doesn't say it. Tommy's the only one who apologizes. But I think Tommy understands that that's not Joel. Joel's not going to apologize. That Joel is who Joel is.
Yeah, and
he's like, I did a lot of things with you. That's just not me anymore. I'm not going to do that. I'm expecting a kid. And Joel's like, hey, Ellie, she's immune. So... And so Tommy's like, what are you talking about? And he's kind of freaking out about it. He's like, no, I've seen her. She's been bit twice. She is immune at this point.
Yeah. And at first he looks out the door like, I need to go tell.
Yeah, Tommy almost goes.
Yeah. And that, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't think we can trust Tommy here.
Bitch.
Can't trust him. I know it's his brother.
But we do find out you can definitely trust Tommy.
Yeah.
Because Joel's like, you've got to take her. I'm not equipped for this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
This is not me. I can't do it. You've got to take her. You got to get her to... And he tells Joel that, what is it? University of Eastern Colorado, I think he says, is where it is.
That's it.
And there's fireflies there. You can go there. I think that may have even come in earlier when they were in the bar.
It's off of 25. I can't miss it.
Go east, you'll hit I-25. And so he's like, you got to go there. And he's like, I can't do it. You've got to do it. And he's like, well, I got this. And he's like, no, you said it's not that dangerous. You can do this for me because I'm not equipped to do this. You can do this.
Yeah.
And Tommy's hesitant, but ultimately he understands where Joel is. Joel tells him about his panic attacks and things that he's having. He's like, I'm having these dreams, and I wake up and I feel like I've lost something in these dreams. He's like, I don't remember what happened, but every time I wake up, I feel like I've lost something. I've screwed up again. And I think that's why Joel's having the panic attacks. He's scared to death that he's going to screw up again. He lost Sarah. He lost Tess. Bill died. Frank died. Everybody in his life has died.
Yeah.
So I think Joel he doesn't trust himself at this point. So he tells Tommy to do that, and Tommy reluctantly agrees because he understands where Joel is. I think he loves Joel. Joel needs his help, so Tommy agrees.
And that's some pretty good loyalty right there.
Yeah, I mean
to just I got a kid on the way, but you know what? I'm gonna help my brother out.
Yeah,
I could possibly die.
Yeah.
In the process.
Yeah, leave my life and
just
my
because
unborn child alone.
Just because my brother's having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty significant. I thought it was. It's probably my favorite scene in the show. Is the scene between them two
in that workshop.
And both of them are fantastic. Tommy, I don't know this actor. I don't.
He was in that Terminator.
Genesis,
the newest one.
Genesis, right?
Is it?
No, that's not Genesis.
No,
it's the one with. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger's back in it, but I never watched it.
Darn it. I never watched it either.
What are you talking about? There's no Terminators after Terminator 2. I don't know what you're talking about.
Those are all just TV shows.
Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Yeah. Well, that's better.
I never watched that either.
Pretty good.
Terminator 3.
Yeah, he was the Terminator.
Yeah.
He's
great. I really like him. I mean, he's really good.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Yeah, him and Joel in this scene, it's like Joel's, got tears. This is the first time we've really seen Joel showing significant emotions, and it's because he feels like I think he can open up to his brother, and he needs his brother.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. He needs his brother.
And Tommy's so conflicted at first, but then when Joel opens up to him, he goes from being conflicted to I need to help him.
I think at that point he thinks that if he doesn't do it, that Joel is probably going to end up dying just because of what is happening.
Yeah.
I think is what it is. He's trying to save his
He's
brother.
not in that state to mentally to go.
So he agrees, and they leave. We forgot to mention, they have a theater in this town, and they're watching a Richard Dreyfuss movie, and I cannot place that movie for nothing. No. I'm sure other podcasters, Bald Move, when they do their podcast, will know the movie, but I could not place the movie at all. But all I could think is, I was in Jaws!
Oh, I love that skit.
Yeah, just fantastic. So Joel and Tommy split up, and Joel walks back to Tommy goes back to the theater where they're showing the movie, and Joel ends up meeting up with Ellie. Maria is in the theater and sees Tommy come back, and she knows something's up. She knows he's going to do something stupid and that he shouldn't do, because he doesn't even go up to her and talk to her, and she's like,
kind of turns his back on her, and watches the movie. Yeah.
So Joel goes back to the house, and Ellie confronts him and is like, "Oh no, I know what you're doing," because she had left the theater and she overheard their conversation. She was standing outside the door, and she's like, "Oh, it's just like everybody else abandoning me in my life. It's what you're gonna do." And it's like she's like, "It's bullshit."
Yeah.
Like I want you to do this. You're mine. Friend. And we see an iMac in the scene.
No,
awesome. I have one just like that at my house.
No kidding.
In my basement. Just like it. So Ellie's pissed at Joel and just basically tells him, "Oh, you're just going to abandon me." And she brings up Sarah.
Yeah.
And oh man, when she brings up Sarah, you can just see it in Joel's eyes, like, we're not talking about this.
Shuts it down right away.
We're not talking about this because Joel is not there. He can't do it. He's still emotionally closed off. He cannot talk about Sarah. But I think that was the thing that got him.
Yeah.
Because when she said that, I think the connection was made. His synapses started firing. He's like, I couldn't save Sarah, but I can save her.
Yeah.
I can save her. So ultimately, I think that again, this is some strong stuff, strong acting. I mean, if there's nominations for these people, this is one of the episodes that's going to do.
Yeah, this one was,
because this is strong stuff.
Very, very well. I mean, building these characters this episode is perfect.
Yeah,
for this.
There's not even a lot that happens in this episode.
No.
This is going to be one of our longest podcasts for this show.
Yeah, I mean this is one of the more character driven episodes. Other than episode 3, which
was characters that don't
broke off
matter.
This is the biggest. This is the biggest. character-driven episode that we've had for our main
characters. And
it worked out awesome.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, this is a significant fight between Ellie and Joel. Not a fight because Joel doesn't really fight back. He just stands there and takes it, and Ellie's really just dropping the hammer.
You're on your own. You're going with.
Yeah.
You're going.
I'm gonna go with Tommy. I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I can't do it. It's not me. I can't do it.
Ellie's like, oh great, I'm gonna start all over again. I'm gonna be scared.
Yeah.
The whole time.
She's like, I'm not scared because I'm with you.
Yeah.
You're the one who makes me not scared.
Yeah.
Which I think. It severely impacts Joel. He runs out of the room, slams the door, and Ellie's just kind of standing there like, yeah, I got him. But, you know, Ellie doesn't have a lot of compassion in her, to be honest. She's
an asshole.
Yeah. A little psycho.
Little psycho.
So Joel leaves and kind of, you know, you see him remembering Sarah. He's got his watch.
Was it him remembering, or was it a dream?
Probably a little bit of both.
Because in the earlier scene, he was talking to Tommy about, I've been having dreams, but I can't remember them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of goes back to that conversation.
Well, he's awake.
Well, he is awake. He's remembering.
Okay. Remembering.
I thought he was asleep.
Little Tandy Newton, who looks just like her mom.
Oh, gosh. You ain't kidding.
Yeah. Nico Parker. Man, when I figured that out, I was like, man, that makes sense. She is her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is so her mom. But yeah, Joel, you know, he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it. So the next morning, Ellie wakes up and is ready, and Tommy comes in the house, comes to Ellie's room and says, let's go. You know, he's got his rifle on him, and Ellie just goes. She goes with him. Mm-hmm. She assumes Joel hasn't changed his mind. They go to and Tommy's like, let's go to the stables. We're going to get the horses. They get to the stable, and there's Joel saddling up.
He's already got everything ready.
He's like, and Ellie's like, what are you doing here? You come to say goodbye? He's like, no, I'm stealing a horse. And Tommy's like, I would have given you one.
I'm going to give it to you, man.
He's like, I know.
But that's it, yeah.
So Joel has changed his mind. He understands that Ellie is his responsibility. Ellie is basically his pseudo daughter at this point, you know. And Joel loves Ellie. That's just all there is to it. He loves Ellie. She's his.
He doesn't realize it until.
Yeah.
I still don't think he realizes it yet.
No. He may realize it, but he's not going to admit it to himself.
She's just not cargo anymore to him.
She is definitely not. And I thought this part was pretty funny because they load up the horses. They're outside, and he's like, "Can I borrow that rifle?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Maria took mine." He's like, "I was going to give it to you anyway." He's like, "I know."
And is that the rifle that he talked about that he just got the new scope on?
Scope.
Yeah,
it's a great scope on that rifle.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a nice looking, nice looking rifle.
So Joel's got his.
That is one that I would pick up in Warzone and use.
That's right. So the funny thing is it's kind of a joke in the show, I think, that all the rifles are the same. They're all like Winchester 700s because in the game you basically only use Winchester rifles.
That's it.
Like that's it.
Oh, really?
You don't you'll get like shotgun occasionally, but always have that deer rifle, and you always have that 6-shooter, that pistol that he carries, and Ellie's gun, of course. Yeah, so, it's always the same weapons because they're so rare to find.
So you don't find any M16s
or
M4s or anything.
Not really.
Okay, all right.
So it's always like the Winchester 700, like bolt actions. Which it's not the ideal weapon, to be honest, because it's a reload time that's not great. You know, if you're good at it, you can do the bolt very easily. So Tommy and Joel say goodbye. Hi.
Hello there.
I think that's Cade.
No, I think so. Hi, Cade.
Yeah. So my son, I think, is watching the stream, or my wife. I don't know which one. Could go either way. So Tommy and Joel say their goodbyes. A nice embrace, and Joel and Ellie ride out of town. They open the gate. Tommy, I think, opens the gate, lets them out, and they set out on their ride to Eastern Colorado, University of Eastern Colorado, the Bighorns.
And I got to tell you what, this place just seems way too good to be true. I'm still skeptical about this place. I know you say it's in Last of Us 2.
You're skeptical of Jackson?
Yeah, but I'm sure it may be in different hands at that point, maybe. I don't know. But, it just, that community just seems like they're setting it up to fail.
I think
good. Something's
your
gonna
problem is
happen.
because you've watched The Walking Dead.
That may be a problem.
You've watched,
Yeah.
and you've seen the
Everything goes
there
to
that
crap
always go to
in
shit.
that. Yeah.
They go
It's
to
like,
shit.
oh great, we got another nice community that's gonna fail. You know.
Yeah. So they leave the community and they have a session of Joel training Ellie to shoot a rifle, which he said he would never do.
Yeah.
Which is funny when you consider the game, because you would never waste rifle rounds in the game because you get so few rounds in the game.
I was thinking that during this scene. I was like, man, they're wasting that ammo that they say is hard to find.
Yeah, so they pump off about 4 or 5 shots here, which is 4 or 5 shots is like, oh my god, I got 4 or 5 shots in my rifle in the game. So it's really funny. But Ellie's a terrible shot, and then she's like, oh, I bet you can't do better. And Joel takes 1 shot, and she's like, what is she? She's like,
Dick.
That's it. She calls him a dick because and then we see the thing he shot, and he hit it dead center, and it says asshole on it.
And then there's that great shot of them riding off.
Yeah, like riding off in the sunset.
Yeah, and it's like
Shane.
on a hill.
Yeah,
sun's coming up over, and it's behind them as they're on the horse. It was a really cool shot.
Kind of an uneventful ride. There's just a little like talking between them and talking about football. They're discussing the rules of football.
The rules of football.
Like, if you go 10 yards, you're back to first down. You know, that kind of stuff.
You're going in the same direction. Yeah, but violently.
That's right. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I would miss football. Yeah. If there was no more football.
And he's talking about how what he used to do back in the day.
Contractor. Yeah, she's making fun of that. Calling it a contractor.
Like everybody like contractors? Yeah, everybody loved contractors.
Joe, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Nobody loves contractors.
Yeah. And so, that comes in a nice little...
Again, more world building, more kind of relationship building between those two. He's opening up.
You're starting to get a little fun banter.
Yeah.
I mean, the banter back and forth that they had before was still funny with the jokes and stuff. And
we didn't get no dad jokes this
Joe
episode.
Just getting annoyed. Well, Ellie gave 1, and it was at the dam. That's basically a dad joke. Yeah, damn.
That is a dad joke. Yeah. So we need more of the dad joke book. We need more of that book.
I have been giving my son 1 dad joke ever since this. Well, last 3 weeks, I've been giving him 1 dad joke. Or what was the last episode that they did the dad jokes? Or when did they start that? 2, 3,
4?
Okay.
Yeah, it was 4.
So it's 3 weeks, yeah. Ever since that, I've been giving my son a dad joke a day before school, and he's loving it.
Told my wife to embrace her mistakes.
Yeah, that one's great.
She gave me a hug.
She gave me a hug. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
You can tell we're dads. We're laughing at it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So they keep riding, and they get to I-25, and they do at least acknowledge the passage of time. It took them 5 days.
Yeah.
To get to I-25.
I-25. Yeah, Tommy was right. 5 days.
5 days. Yeah. They ride in on I-25, and they get to the University of Eastern Colorado. And it's funny because both of us were like, Washington University?
Yeah, it looked like Washington University.
Like the big towers at Washington University here in St. Louis. So they ride in. There's nobody there. It's looking, from the game, I know there's not going to be anybody there. But they ride in. They're looking for the Fireflies. They find a sign that shows the Firefly on it. So they ride that way. They see monkeys, which is directly from the game. I didn't mention that. Those monkeys are in the game. The baboons are in the game. And they get to the building, the Biomedical Sciences building at University of Eastern Colorado, and they find nobody's there. They find a little list that's, Joel's like, oh, this is a packing list. This is when you're getting out of here.
Getting ready to leave.
Put this list together, take it out. So they go, they hear something upstairs, and they're like, well, maybe not everybody's gone. And they go upstairs, and they find some baboons in one of these places. And it's become pretty clear that the Fireflies have abandoned this place. And as they're up there in that room, they hear voices, and there's some guys there. And they don't look like great guys.
We got
In the game,
bats.
you have raiders that are dressed a certain way. They're always dressed a certain way.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah.
like, clearly these are the raiders, kind of like the guys out there living on their own, doing whatever they can to survive. And, maybe these are bad guys, maybe these aren't, but they're going to kill people to take what they need.
Right.
It's kind of how it is with raiders in the game. So, yeah, we'll stop right there before we get to the next scene. Anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, no, I just I love the ride there. You know,
Yeah,
like we
it's a lot of
touched on. Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much all up until this point. So the baboons, were they from the zoo? Did they?
Well, they were
explain
likely just from the experiments.
the
in
experiments?
university, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
Because
probably
there's a
just
lot
let
of
them
it.
out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. So,
Do they do they attack in the
No.
game?
No,
Okay,
you
they
don't
just
need
run away.
I don't think that there's any point in The Last of Us where you have any problem out of any animal in the game. Yeah,
That's
I don't
something.
remember at least.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just people and infected.
because normally I've heard like baboons are aggressive.
No, they're assholes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was, seeing this and they just run away.
Yeah.
You got somebody online.
Yeah, I think it's gonna turn off. We've been talking for a long. This episode is our longest episode
Yeah.
so far.
It's great.
Shockingly.
Yeah.
It's a good episode. Lots to talk about in this episode. So
There's a lot that happens, even though there's not a lot that.
yeah,
happens.
it's a lot, but not a lot.
Yeah.
It moves the story forward. Mm-hmm. So they go outside after they see these guys. So Joel's like, "Let's go out the back," and they go outside through a door that's right near where they left the horse. They run over to the horse, and a guy comes up behind them and tries to attack him. Hits a tree with his baseball. He's got a baseball bat, clearly a wood baseball bat.
Yep.
You come to find out.
Shatters
And
it. Yeah.
Joel jumps on the guy, chokes him out, breaks his neck.
Yeah.
And he turns around, and Ellie's like, "Oh my God, Joel!" And Joel's been stabbed in the stomach by the splinters of this, like the end of the baseball bat. He's been stabbed, and so they.
Yeah. At that point, I was like, just leave it in.
Yeah.
Leave it in. He pulls
They
it
pull
out.
it out.
God
He's
dang
bleeding.
it. Yeah. And he
So
just
they
starts
leave
bleeding everywhere.
and move along, and they start going down and going towards wherever they're going. They're not really going anywhere. And Joel passes out,
Just
falls
not
off the
there.
horse, and that ends up with Ellie like, "Joel, don't leave
Yeah.
me. You can't leave me."
Can't do this without you.
And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah. So they did look at a map. Everything went to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So-
Salt Lake City.
I guess that's where they're heading. Or
That's
going
where
to
they're
try
gonna
to head to
Yeah,
now.
We're gonna head to Salt Lake City.
Okay.
But this part's in the game. Joel gets injured, and it's going to kind of slow him down, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
else to say?
No, I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. It's real good.
Not as much as last episode, but the dynamic with Joel and Ellie, I'd love to see that expand like it did in
Yeah.
this episode. And this episode really kind of pushed their relationship forward.
Oh, yeah.
More than any of the other ones. So, and I think we're going to get some amazing stuff to come.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Can't wait for it.
All right. So that's the end of the episode. Terrific episode. Really good at moving things forward.
Can't wait for Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday.
Yeah.
Next weekend.
Can't wait for 8 o'clock on Sunday.
That's right. We'll see you then.
And 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Check us Friday. We'll probably be on Friday for some movie reviews, most likely. And like I said, follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter, I guess. And you can check out our Facebook page as well, facebook.com/groups, /basement room. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. But in any case,
We're there.
yeah, we're on there. You can find us. We post things there. Been posting a lot of shorts on YouTube, some movie trivia and things like that. So, all right, basementmovieroompodcast.com with an
Those are
S.
fun. Those trivia shorts are
Trivia
fun.
shorts are
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I've been trying to do those every day.
I've lost every one of them,
Yeah.
and they're ours.
All right. So that's the end of the episode.
Yep.
That's the end of the stream. You guys have a good evening, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Till next time.
What was it? Cheers!
Cheers.